नमस्कार. देशदूतच्या शिक्षणोत्सवात तुमच्या सगळ्यांचं स्वागत. देशदूतचा हा वर्धापन दिन 54वा आणि त्याच्या सगळ्यांना तुम्हाला खूप साऱ्या शुभेच्छा. शिक्षणोत्सव साजरा करताना आपण अनेक पैलूंकडे शिक्षणाच्या बघतोय आणि आपण अनेक तज्ज्ञांचे मतं जाणून घेतोय, आपण त्यांच्याशी चर्चा करतोय. सो वी आर डिस्कसिंग द होल ॲस्पेक्ट ऑफ एज्युकेशन in terms of its various factors. We are doing this as part of our 54th anniversary celebration for Deshdoot. We call it as a festival of education, Shikshanotsav, and the baseline of this is considering that the whole process of education should help in creating a good human being, thereby a good society, and help build the nation altogether. So with me to discuss this topic today is Astha Kataria, the director and chairman of Ashoka Education Foundation and Ashoka Schools. So Astha ji, welcome to the Deshdoot platform on education, and we are discussing the whole process of education here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's truly a pleasure to be a part of this Deshdoot event and to be talking on education. Yeah.
Well, like I said, the whole goal of education is creating a good human being. When we talk of school education, we have tiny tots and little ones in the primary, going on to their adolescent ages in the secondary, and then when they have their wings and they kind of flutter and try to take leaps in the college scenario. So you are a part of all this. You have little ones, you have the adolescents, and you have the elder ones who are looking forward to their lives. So how do you look at this whole process of education, beginning from the young years to their elder years?
It's a beautiful process to begin with because you see the whole life journey of the child. As you said, I believe that each child has the wings right from, their birth, right? And how do I see this life journey is nothing but, the process of being a butterfly. Oh. From the caterpillar, and we all know how beautifully that transformation takes place, and how each of those butterflies have their unique abilities. Their their different colors signifies their different strengths and interests. So that's how I see the life journey. Like may it be a kindergarten child or a child who is deciding his career and it is in his kind of crossed his adolescence age. And so all this while the child undergoes a lot of transformations, lot of learnings, lot of life experiences.
Right.
And each phase is important, each phase is beautiful, and each phase teaches us a lot.
Very true.
More than just we giving learning to the child, may we being an educational institute, an educator, a parent, an adult. Each one, I think, learns a lot when the child is growing up.
Very true.
So, with me in education or at Ashoka, or Ashoka being in education, I would say that more than just a learning platform, I believe that each one of us are learners here.
Very true.
Yeah.
So it's always a two-way process. The younger ones also help us, learn, and like you said, teach us a lot of things that we need to catch on from them too. So while this process is going on, you also come from the background where you've seen conventional education as probably a student yourself, and the early years when, you had all these systems. Now we are on the doorstep of a new policy. But before that, I believe that Ashoka has, undergone a lot of transformation to bring in more of practical training and skill-based knowledge to the students. So what is exactly that you did at Ashoka to bring about this transformation?
So I'll begin with our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Ashok Kataria, who had this vision of coming into education. The whole endeavor of being in education is, we all know that Ashoka has been into infrastructure development. And in this process, what was a bigger realization was the need of human development. And as you said, that conventionally, yes, we all have had our share of learning as a student. I'm myself an engineer, and, but then in this process of choosing my educational journey as an engineer and taking this journey forward, I realized that a lot of information, a lot of understanding, a lot of choices were missing in this path
True.
of my life. And fortunately, Ashoka, we could create a platform where the whole purpose of education at Ashoka is to give all possible avenues to students, to allow them to explore, to allow them to explore different avenues so they can identify their passion and they can work towards their passion along with building the right values, the right mindset. At Ashoka, we have focused a lot on experiential learning so that, it stays with you forever, your life.
Very true.
So the biggest difference, what we see in the conventional learning and learning which we see today is, we have all been grown up in a very rote learning pattern of
Absolutely.
and now the kind of world also which we are in, the kind of world which is going to get transformed. This is all redundant. We
Very
don't
true.
know what the students are like when we talk about careers. These students are going to enter the career which don't even exist today.
Very true.
So the whole endeavor is to develop the right skills, the right mindset, so that they can thrive in this world.
Very true,
Yeah.
very true. Where you rightfully said the word mindset, because everything revolves around a mindset. These mindsets are created at school, they are developed at school, but teachers, along with teachers, parents also play a bigger role. Their home environments, their social environments, they also play a bigger role. Now, while the social environment or their home environment may not be in your control, what probably you have is the time with them during school. And today we see that what is important for a child is the academic excellence is definitely important because we are going through a system. There is the IQ, but we need to focus on what we call as the EQ today. So how do you look at developing this EQ, the emotional side of the child?
At Ashoka, EQ is is the soul of the whole education philosophy which we live. For EQ specifically, to develop the socio-emotional quotient in the child, we have designed a curriculum. Magic of Happiness is the name.
Oh.
And why Magic of Happiness? Because that's the life magic, right?
True.
Which we all search for. And interestingly, this has been designed by all our Ashoka Education Foundation faculties, which the whole curriculum revolves around 5 key attributes, which are basically nothing but socio-emotional quotient development attributes, which talks about self-awareness. It begins with self-awareness, like, who I am, what do I feel, how do I feel. Self-management. Once I'm aware of myself, my emotions, I can regulate my emotions. So self-management. Then it talks about the importance of positive relationships and how can I really develop a positive relationship in every sphere of my life.
Very important.
It talks about important decision making again. And again, these all things are very, very linked. Like, if I am aware of myself, I can regulate my emotions, I can develop better character, I can have a better understanding of different relationships, and I can be a better decision maker. So there's a complete module. The interesting part of this curriculum is, curriculum might sound a heavy word, but the kids know this as happiness classes.
Oh.
And these happiness classes take place in form of case studies, in form of discussions, in form of storytelling, in form of reflections from students, circle time. So it's like, and okay, like, this is something which we have developed as a part of one of the happiness classes, which are regularly framed in the curriculum. But as a culture, I believe socio-emotional learning can only be, instilled when I see this as a culture. The way you said, child is there in school for limited 6 to 8 hours. The child is, continuously mingling with the society. The family is strongly influencing the child.
Very true.
So I think anything which needs to be penetrated, which needs to be a part of my nature, my being, has to be something which I see around me. And that's how I see that education is not just to do with an educational institute. It has to do with a collaborative approach of teachers, parents, institute, the child, keeping the child at the center. Child is the main key soul.
Of course, the focus is the child.
Yes. So every part is important, and we try to create a culture. A culture from everyone, right? From the office boys to aunties to educators, leading by right examples. And we believe in partnering with parents. We keep informing parents on what we have done, what they can do. So I think it's a
their
journey.
participation is equally important.
Very important.
Right.
More than our involvement with the child.
Very true. Very true. Like you said that you have these happiness classes. I'm thrilled with the concept itself. I mean, I wish I was a child and could come back to a happiness class, something like that. So how do kids respond? Do they come up with a lot of creativity? Because one of the aspects of developing a child to being a good human being is allowing him to express the creativity. More often than not, what we see at homes is we suppress it. We suppress their inquisitiveness, we suppress their creativities, and we want them to perform in a very set pattern because that's very convenient for maybe parents or to, generally in speaking, take care of large number of students in a class. But how do you help them express their creativity? Because what I'm aware of about Ashoka is that you have a lot of humanities activities like music and dance, and students can choose from whatever they can. So how do you look at the whole creativity aspect, and does it help in developing the thinking patterns?
So first of all, appreciation to you for such a right question, and that's what we engage our teachers with, that you should know to ask the right questions, and if that is triggered in the minds of kids, creativity will come. So I think a very important part of encouraging and flourishing this environment of creativity is to do with teachers training, is to do with parent sensitization, is to do with breaking this core mindset that creativity can come only with music classes or dance classes or something to do with
it can come up anywhere
with arts.
Yeah.
It can come even in a science or a math
Absolutely.
class. And it can come even in a talk show, or it can come students participate in MUN, TED Talks, and there are so many plethora of choices.
Yeah.
As you asked, at Ashoka, we believe that we have to give these platforms. Now, we have always been very, very active in terms of sports, in terms of music, overall performing arts, in terms of giving different avenues to students to express. The way you asked, expressions are very, very important. I think all we struggle, even as adults, is to have this fear of expressing our feelings, is to hesitate when we differ in our opinions, is to, kind of say that, oh, I wonder if I could be better in conflict resolution.
True.
So I think these are the skills which are very, very important, irrespective however and how much ever we grow technologically. Humans still need humans. And when we need that human connection, these skills are very important. So these are triggered and kind of nurtured right from assembly talks, where students have different platforms where they have spontaneous extempores, where they come and they share their stories, where they come and they share the thought of the day. Then we have these from the TED Talk we organize, we have done this, we have primary level Ashoka talks going on.
Okay.
We have MUN. So anything and everything which is getting threaded, we try to see and try to imbibe in this in our teachers also, to encourage more and more open conversations.
Very true. So communication is again the basics of everything. And I'll take you back a little bit to your earlier answer where you said that one of the goal is in helping child, build the proper relationships.
Yes.
Today we are seeing a world which is kind of aggressive. You said yourself that conflict resolution is very important. We see a lot of conflicts, even between, children, even between friends, even between families. And the kind of turns that they are taking is not moving towards a healthy society. We are at a brink where probably, we can make the difference as adults by, giving the right kind of direction to the present generation who is learning today. So, in this aspect, how do you see the future of the children today who are undergoing this process of education, who are undergoing this process of self-exploration, and who are, in turn, trying to be better citizens with whatever inputs they are getting? So how do you look at the future of these children in terms of their whole relationship buildings?
So we are going to see a colossal shift in the whole educational landscape, in the world landscape, in the way we are living, we are doing things. We are witnessing this every single day. You know, हमारी लाइफस्टाइल जो 10 साल पहले थी और आज जो है उसमें बहुत बहुत ज़्यादा डिफरेंस है, राइट? पहले हम एक जनरेशन का मतलब हम 10 साल समझते थे और अब आई थिंक 3 साल भी एक जनरेशन हो गया है. इतना डिफरेंस इज हैपनिंग इन द माइंडसेट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स एंड द वे दे थिंक, द वे दे बिहेव, द वे दे react. What we have in our hands is what I said, to lead by right examples, to sensitize them at the right age and to nurture them with those values. हमारे हाथ में उनको सही संस्कार देना है, राइट? एंड वो संस्कार देना है, और वो संस्कार, वो सोशो इमोशनल लर्निंग, वो वैल्यूज़ को लेके जो भी चैलेंजेस उनके लाइफ में आएंगे, वी नीड टू इक्विप देम इन सच अ वे कि वो उससे फाइट कर पाएँ, वो उससे हताश या निराश होके कोई रॉन्ग डायरेक्शन नहीं पकड़ें. हम बहुत सारे केसेस देखते हैं जहाँ सो कॉल्ड सक्सेसफुल पीपल, दे आर नॉट एबल टू सस्टेन देयर सक्सेस. और जिनको हम सोसाइटी में ऐसा बिलीव करते हैं कि लाइक यू नो दे हैव एवरीथिंग what they need in their life, these are the successful people, and suddenly we realize, oh, why this happened, what happened with them. But I think everything boils down to what happened in their early years, how their teachers, their parents, the society, you know, looked at them, how they nurtured them, and how, what is most important is how much of freedom are we allowing our younger generation
Absolutely.
to come forward and share. I mean, I think the most important, I'm also a parent of a teenager.
Okay.
I think the only element which even I look at as a parent is nothing more than to have this feeling that, okay, if my child, you know, kind of feels lost, he would reach out to me.
True.
I always question this to myself, and I think every parent should think about this. And if you see that yes, there is a yes, then yes, you know, you have to manage that relationship with your child. You have to manage that relationship with the student. Once the child or the student feels that, oh, you're understanding me, I can confine my fears, my success, my emotions, I can reach out to you. And I think that's the only element which makes us human. That's the only element which makes a teacher a great teacher.
Great teacher.
Yeah.
So this communication between the teacher and the child, ये जो संवाद है जो एक शिक्षक और विद्यार्थी में है, तो ये संवाद, is that the key to developing the relationship between the child, or do you see that this communication is moving in a certain positive way? क्योंकि if we look at the conventional education, फिर हम वही स्टेट में जाते हैं जहाँ देयर वॉज सम डिस्टेंस, दो देयर वॉज रिस्पेक्ट, हम बहुत सारा आदर करते थे हमारे गुरुजनों का, पर फिर भी एक थोड़ा सा डर हुआ करता था या एक थोड़ा सा गैप हुआ करता था. अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि एजुकेशनल सिनारियो में टीचर्स हैं कि जो बच्चों के फ्रेंड्स भी हो सकते हैं, उनके गाइड्स भी हो सकते हैं, उनके मेंटोर्स भी हो सकते हैं. ये रिलेशनशिप को आप कैसे देखते हो और आपके टीचर्स में क्या इनकलकेट करते हो?
से अगर एक प्री प्राइमरी चाइल्ड है मेरे साथ, तो मैं उससे खड़े होके बात नहीं करूँगी, मैं उसके साथ उसके लेवल पे आके बात करूँगी. हम बहुत बार सोचते हैं कि ये बच्चे हैं, और ये गलती हम सब करते हैं. ये बच्चे हैं और हम उनको बच्चों जैसा ट्रीट करते हैं. नेचुरली यही आता है, बिकॉज हमने भी शायद वैसी ही पेरेंटिंग रिसीव की है, या वैसी ही एजुकेशन के थ्रू हम लोग भी गए हैं. बट मैंने ये रियलाइज़ किया है आउट ऑफ माई ऑब्जर्वेशन, आउट ऑफ माई एक्सपीरियंस, कि जब हम उनको रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं, हमें वो रिस्पेक्ट ऑटोमेटिकली मिलता है. एंड जो हमने इसके पिछले बात की कि अगर मैं आपको समझ रही हूँ और आपको कॉन्फिडेंस है कि ये मुझे समझ पाएगी, तो आप मुझसे बोलने में झिझकेंगे नहीं.
बिल्कुल.
एंड ये बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है. तो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट हम यही एलिमेंट देखते हैं कि टीचर्स शुड एक्ट एज फैसिलिटेटर्स. देयर हैज़ टू बी अ बैलेंस, द वे यू आस्क्ड, कि पहले का थे गुरु के लिए आदर था, एक थोड़ा सा एक जो बोलते हैं ना हम लोग, भय भी था, भीति थी, जो भी हम वर्ड यूज़ कर लें, पर उसके साथ एक रेस्पेक्ट भी था, राइट? एंड वो कहीं डर उस समय के लिए शायद वही अप्रोप्रिएट था. आज की जनरेशन अलग है. हम ये जो कंपेयर करते हैं ना, वो भी कहीं ना कहीं गलत है.
गलत है.
हमें आज के लिए क्या सही है, एंड सी वर्ल्ड इज गोइंग टू चेंज.
Definitely.
वी नीड टू एम्ब्रेस.
Yeah.
सो आज हम बच्चों को ओपननेस देना, और बच्चे बोलते नहीं आई डिफर फ्रॉम यू. ओके,
Yeah.
टू एक्सेप्ट कि ठीक है माई चाइल्ड डिफर्स फ्रॉम मी,
Very true.
एंड टू लेट हिम लिव. कुछ लेसन्स आप उसी टाइम पे नहीं सिखा सकते हो, राइट? कुछ लाइफ
Right.
लेसन्स हमने बाद में सीखे हैं, मच
Very
लेटर.
true. Very true.
So we have
Same
to
with the
allow
child.
that, yeah.
We have to allow, and for that the acceptance of their teachers and the whole school system along with the parents is very important. It is very important to consider, like what Astha ji is saying, that consider them as human beings rather than kids, or being small beings.
Matured individuals, yeah.
So let them be themselves, and you come to their level to have this communication with them. That will give them more confidence. If we have such kind of educational institutes and such kind of teachers, such kind of vision to take the children forward, I'm sure that the whole scenario of education will change in no time. I'm sure that, this whole process of creating or developing good human beings is on the right track by considering the socio-emotional development of the child.
We need to instill this element in the child, that education is not just about coming to school. Education is for life. And, from my first till last breath, I should be, actively enjoying this learning process, learning, unlearning, and relearning.
Very
I think
true.
life is all about that, and that's what we want to engage our learners. Learners means all of us as academicians, educators, and our parents.
Very true.
So, we create a community of learners.
Learners. Very true. And in the learning, like you said, there will be some unlearning and some relearning for some of us. So it's a beautiful kind of relationship that she's portraying amongst the students, the growing generation and the grown-up generation. Both are learning together. Both are learning new together. So with this, I think there is a lot of confidence for us. There is a lot of hope for us to look to the present generation as better individuals of the future. Astha ji, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you and knowing
Thank
your
you.
views on education.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for being a part of this show.
Thank you.